She was like, oh, because you're pregnant. Who's pregnant? Me, but I'm not pregnant, you know. And so she's like, no, yes you are, congratulations. I'm like, no, I'm not.
How about some reverse psychology? Yeah.
What is up, my Lacy lovers? It's your girl Mickey and I am back with another video, you guys. So today I will be doing a story time about the time that I was pregnant with Mr. K-Sign. Now this video was requested after I did the video with Kayla in my teen pregnancy, pregnant at 18, and everybody requested me to do the birth of K-Sign, or how I found out I was pregnant with him. But I think in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about everything. How I was pregnant with him, the birth, and the aftermath. So with Kayla it was more so about like how I found out I was pregnant with her versus K-Sign, me telling you how I was pregnant with, how I got pregnant with him, the experience being pregnant with him, and the aftermath of being pregnant with him. So before we get into this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, do not forget to subscribe, turn those post notifications on so that you can get the shout out in the next video. And then follow me on all of my social media networks. They'll be right here at the bottom of the screen, you guys. Alright, now without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so this is how it went down. When I found out, okay, so I had Kayla when I was 19. Okay, this is the continuation of the last story time that I did with Kayla. So if you want to go check that one out first, you can do that. It'll be right here in the corner or in the description box, wherever you can find it, and then you can watch that first and then come back to this video. But however, after Kayla was born, I pretty much snapped back really good. Like I had her, my stitches and stuff healed well, my stomach went down super quick. I got right back into dancing, and because I was on a dance team at that time, so I got right back into dancing and, you know, doing stuff like that. So I was enjoying my life, having fun. Like I love my baby. Everybody was so supportive at the time. Like my mom stepped up and helped me. Pretty much everything that I said at the end of the last video. Fast forward 2 years, okay, maybe not 2 years, a year later, I was on birth control and everything, you guys. Like I was on birth control and I was taking the pills. Now with the pills, if you miss a day, it's like when you miss one day, you got to take 2 the next day. If you miss that day, you got to take 2.5 or something, just some crazy kind of stuff, right? So after me being on birth control for so long, I would normally just go to the doctor to get my refills for birth control. And so one particular day when I set a doctor's appointment to go get my refill, I went in and I was scheduled, you know, I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up my prescription for my refill on birth control. And then as procedure, they go ahead and they give you a urine test so that they can make sure that everything's good. So I went back there, I did what I had to do, and then when I was done, I came and she was like, okay, just make sure you sit in the waiting room, and then when we're done, we'll give you your prescription. I said, okay, cool. I'm sitting in the waiting room or whatever, like just waiting. And so then I'm like, what is taking so long? Like, I don't understand what's taking so long. Why? It's just a prescription. Y'all have plenty of pills in the bag. Just throw some in the bag, give them to me so I can be on my way out. All right, so 10-15 minutes later, I'm still waiting. I go up there to the lady and I'm like, can you please tell me like what's taking so long? I just came for a refill, like that's it or whatever. And so then she's like, oh, we have your file here. I'm like, okay, great, give me the refill. And so she was like, the only thing is that we're not giving you a refill on birth control. We're gonna give you a prescription for prenatal pills. I'm like, why on planet Earth would I need prenatal pills? And I just came in here to get a checkup, not a checkup, to get a refill on birth control. She was like, oh, because you're pregnant. Who's pregnant? Me, but I'm not pregnant, you know. And so she's like, no, yes you are, congratulations. I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, well, when you came in the back and you did your urine test, we gave you a pregnancy test because we didn't want to give you birth control pills if you're pregnant. And so I'm like, but I'm not pregnant. She's like, yes, you are. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot win. Like, this was not scheduled, y'all. K-Son was not scheduled, even though I love him with every piece of me. He was not scheduled. I mean, I knew the consequences of, you know, my, you know, activities, you know, back then, but I'm just like, if I'm on birth control, then I should be straight. I should be good. That was definitely not the case. So I'm walking out of the doctor's appointment with a bag of prenatal pills, and I'm just like, this can't be life right now. So then I called my mom, and mind you, she was not even in town. She was out of town. We were looking for a house in California, so they were out here looking at houses while I was still back in Chicago. So then I go out into the parking lot, and I'm on my way to the car, and then I'm calling her, and she's like, yeah, you know, what's up? I'm like, Mom. She's like, what? Like, what's going on? What, you know, like, are you okay? Everything fine? I'm like, no, everything's not fine. I'm like, no, everything's not fine. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm pregnant. And she's like, what? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? I'm like, yes, Mom, I'm pregnant. I just left the doctor's office. I went to go get a prescription, a refill for my birth control, and these people gave me prenatal pills. So I was totally freaking out. I called his dad. I told him. He was freaking out. So it was just a matter of time, you know, until I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you guys, the bigger I got, the more irritated I got, the more frustrated I got. Like, I feel like when I was pregnant with him, that's when, like, my anxiety, I didn't even, like, technically I've never experienced anxiety like to the level that I experienced it being pregnant with my son. Like, it was on a whole nother level, y'all. So I started having like heart palpitations, and I started feeling like real faint, because I was huge. Like, if I can find a picture, I'll insert it, but if I can't, sorry about that. But I was huge when I was pregnant with my son. So and I was just real nervous, like, because like I was, once again, did it alone with Kayla, and then I was just frustrated that I had to do it all over again alone with K-Son. And so I'm just like, I'm about to have 2 kids. I'm a single mom, like, and I just keep, you know, making the wrong mistake over and over again. So after that though, like, after I had K-Son, I had my mind made up like that. I'm not having any more children for anyone until I am established as a human being by myself, like, not with a partner, not with anyone. Like, I have to be established by myself, which means that if anybody decides to leave and walk out and go on their merry way, because everybody's entitled to do that, I will be okay no matter what. That's number 1. And number 2, I'm not having no kids for nobody until I have a ring on my finger, y'all. All right, I know you see a ring on my finger right now, but that's just, I just wear it on this finger just because I want to. But anyways, fast forward towards the end of my pregnancy, I was doing everything to get K-Son out, okay? When I tell y'all, I was walking miles and miles. I was come home, I would exercise. I was taking like castor oil, because I heard that if you drink castor oil, it'll kick up like contractions and then you'll go into labor early. And so I was doing all of it, and to come to find out that my doctors wouldn't even deliver me until I was 39 weeks. I started doing this at 32, 33, 34, 35, like those weeks, because I was so huge and fed up. I'm like, at this point, I'm gonna bust. Okay, so I was doing everything in my power to get him out. Yeah, I was exercising and I was doing everything. I started having a lot of like dizzy spells. I started getting real disgruntled. I started getting real angry just with everybody that was around me. I was living by myself at the time, because after Kayla, I stayed with my mom for a little bit longer, but right before K-Son was born, I moved out and I got my own place, because I'm like, Mom, this room is, you know, getting too small for us. I'm about to have a newborn baby. We need space. He's gonna be crying. We're gonna be all on top of each other. And so I moved out. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, And I just felt really, really alone when I was there, because all the friends that I had at the time, they either lived super far away from me, and then the ones that I did have that were close to me kind of just fell off when I got pregnant. So I was like, oh, nice to know I have real friends, you know. So I felt really, really alone. And during that time, I really clinged to my mom, just because she was always there. Like, she was always there with, you know, when I was pregnant with Kayla, and then when I got pregnant with Kason, she was always there. So I was calling her over and over and over to come to my apartment, to come like sit with me, to come hold Kayla, to just come keep me company. When I felt sick, like I was having those dizzy spells. One time I even like fell and dropped to the ground for I don't know how long, and then I got up like, oh my gosh. So that scared me more than anything, which is the same thing that scares me to this day, where I just do not want to be alone. I don't like being alone. Like, I don't. I feel like my kids are not old enough to know that when something has happened to mommy or something, well, maybe now, you know, because they're 7 and 5, but even still, like, I want them to be a little bit older. But a lot of times, a lot of the pranks that y'all see me do on them is stuff that I want to know what they would do if we were alone. But that's besides the point. I used to call her all the time. So that's when I really started having really, really, really bad anxiety after that happened, and I had my daughter with me. Fast forward, okay, it's time for me to get prepared for birth. Okay, I'm packing bags, I'm getting my gowns and my everything that I need for the hospital and stuff ready or whatever. A few days later, I go and I don't TMI, but this is what happens with pregnant women. I actually lost my, mucus plug. So I was like, I know that it's around the corner for me to have him. And so one day I started having contractions, and they were really bad. And so I went to the hospital previous to this about 5 to 7 times. So we're not gonna talk about the times where they gave me a shot to stop my delivery. So they didn't want me to have the baby earlier than 39 weeks. So at 39 weeks, when I started having contractions, I was like, yes, you gotta deliver me now. So I went to the hospital, and they induced me, even though I was already like naturally in labor. Like, they just gave me something to speed it up because I was in so much pain or whatever. And so then they asked me if I wanted to get a epidural, and I told them yes, I wanted epidural because the pain was just getting out of hand, you guys. And I tell you, I'm in there pulling my own hair, I'm squeezing water bottles, I got this ugly face on my face. It's me, my mom, my sister, and I think my grandparents was up there or whatever. But it was just really, really bad. So then the man comes in and he gives me my epidural, and he gives me an epidural in the back. Now with Kayla, easy peasy. They came in, they gave me my epidural. I slept for a few hours. When I woke up, they were like, let me check you. Boom, you was 10 centimeters. And here comes Kayla, the lovely girl, right? And then with Kason, they came in and gave me the epidural, and they put it in my back, and I'm like, I still feel contractions. Like, I still feel everything, okay? So then they call him back. It's the anesthesiologist or whatever. They call him back, and they're like, she says she still feels it, whatever. And he comes back in, he's like, I have to take it out and do it again. I'm sorry, did you feel it? So again, now I'm playing around because this could paralyze me. So please, do it right or whatever. And so I'm leaned over, I'm squeezing this pillow, I'm crying because nobody could come in there with me. You can only be in there with the nurse. Like, you can't hold anybody. You can't squeeze anybody, do anything. You have to like let the nurse do it because they know, like if you're supposed to be sitting up or sitting, whatever. So I was like curled over holding my pillow, and I was just crying like, I can't believe I'm going through this, and alone at that. So then my mom came back in, and the anesthesiologist left, and my sister and my grandparents came back in. And so then my mom was like, how does it feel now? And then I started having a really, really, really bad contraction, and then I felt it again. I was like, that's it. So then they started checking me, and they're like, oh, you're ready. I'm like, I still feel stuff. Like, I feel this. This is painful. I feel it. And so they're like, you know what? It's nothing that we can do at this point. Like, keep squeezing the thing. If you're having contractions, keep trying to squeeze it every so often or whatever. So guys, it was time for him to come, and I was just in so much pain that it was just unbearable. I'm like bearing down, I'm pushing, it's burning, it's hurting, like everything is just so painful. And then you know, he comes out, I'm crying. Obviously, I'm so happy to see my baby. Like, this is the person that's been in me for the past 9 months. Like, we created a bond. And so then he comes out, I'm squeezing him, holding him. He's like all white, like he's so light.
Ew. Good night, Kason.
And even with Kayla, that's why they both light skinned and I'm chocolate. But anyways, he comes out and I'm just so in love with him. And, you know, fast forward, once I pushed him out, that's when the epidural kicked in. And so now everything's numb. I can't get up, I can't sit up, stomach's numb, bottom's numb. You know, they're doing the second delivery of the placenta. Like, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff that y'all probably really don't care about. But they did all of that, and then what happened was when he came out, they kept saying, oh, we have to do all these checks. You know, they do the ear checks, the heart checks, the eyes checks, all of this, right? They check my baby eyes and they say that they're a little yellow. And so I'm just like, they're a little yellow. Okay, they're a little yellow, whatever. But they're like, no, it's yellow, then he has yellow jaundice. And so I'm like, what the heck is that? This is something they came up with that was just driving me nuts. Bring this little blue light in, and they're like, we need him to sit up under this light when you're feeding him. When you're done feeding him, put him in the cradle with the blue light over him, and that should cure it, and by the time it's time for you to go. And so I'm like, okay, even though I'm so irritated at that, because I'm like, I want my baby next to me. I want him under me. I want him next to me, like all of that. I don't want him on the other side of the room in a cradle with a blue light in his face. You know, so they're like, this is gonna help him. It's time for me to get dismissed from the hospital, and then come back and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna dismiss you, but you know, Kason has to stay here. And I'm like, no, he's not. I'm not leaving this hospital without my child. What's wrong? And he was like, you know, the yellow jaundice, you know, still hasn't, you know, went away. We need him to stay for more treatment and stuff like that. And I'm like, come on, man. But all I'm telling you is, nurse, is that I'm not going nowhere. Okay, I'm not leaving this hospital. And so then she's just like, well, oh no, we can see if you can stay. You know, we can see I'm staying with my child. You're not taking him or whatever. I just pushed him out a day and a half ago, and you trying to already kick me out the dang on hospital. I'm not leaving my baby. That's off top. I'm not leaving. Okay. So then she was just like speaking with other nurses, and they was just like, okay, well, you can stay, but we can't give you anything to eat, and we can't, you know, provide you with all of your needs for your bottom area after you just had the baby. Like, we can't provide you with any more of that stuff. If you know, like, girls need pads, we need like what the minty smelling things called, I don't know, but we need a lot to prepare us down there. Ice packs, all kinds of stuff. And you're telling me that I have to stay here with my child, I have to breastfeed him, I do all of this stuff, and you're not gonna provide any of it? I was so mad. So I ended up speaking to somebody higher than who I was speaking with, and you know, the lady was just like, well, we really can't provide you with anything for down there, because at this point, that's stuff you're supposed to be buying on your own when you leave the hospital, but we do have to continue to feed you because you're breastfeeding him. So I was like, whatever, I don't even want this stupid food anyway. So I had my mom bringing me food up and everything. A week later, we were in there for a week. They had him under all of these lights, all kind of stuff for a week. I was getting frustrated. Every day they told me I had to stay a day longer. I was so just mad and just livid. Okay, you guys, my baby was okay. We got to leave. He had all of his immunizations and stuff like that. So we finally got to go home. And when I got home, I was feeling different. Again, I was feeling different. Remember I told you guys, like, that was the first time I had experienced anxiety on that level. When I got home, it got worse, okay? I started having postpartum depression, okay? Where I didn't want to be around him anymore. Not a lot of people even know, like my family, really close family, like my mom and my sisters and stuff know that I went through this. But I started to go through postpartum depression where I didn't want to be around my son like that, where every time he screamed, I got mad or I got irritated. I started having like crazy thoughts. You know the thoughts that I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it because I don't want YouTube to flag my video. But anyways, I started having those kind of thoughts. And I was just like, I'm not right. Like, I'm not right. I was calling my mom, like, please come over. Like, I can't even be in the same room with him anymore. Like, he's just screaming and screaming. And I don't know. I just don't know. Like, Kyla wasn't like this. And so Kyla came out quiet, mute, just perfect, you know. And Kason is perfect, but he was a screamer, which set my anxiety and depression to a whole nother level. Well, I didn't even know what to do. Like, I was just like, I just don't know, Mom. I just don't know. Just please come. Just please come. And, you know, no matter, I rocked him 100 times. I fed him 100 times. I burped him 100 times. I changed him 100 times. Nothing worked. I put him on my chest. I breastfed. I did everything that I was supposed to do as a mom, and it was not working. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, you know. And my postpartum anxiety lasted from that point on to technically previous day. Like, I'm no longer in that state of mind that I was after I had Kason, you guys, but I do still have moments where I'm just like, you know, what's going on with life right now? You know what I'm saying? And technically YouTube has really changed that for me. This is more so of an outlet for me now. I get to talk and let it out and get it out. I feel like you guys are right here with me, like I'm talking to you guys. But I didn't have that back then. I had no outlet. I had no hobbies. I hated my job. I was alone. Like, I'm not alone anymore. Obviously, I live in a house with 10 people, but they all frustrate me. But nevertheless, I don't take it for granted, because when I was alone, I was in a really dark place and I was really down about a lot of things, and it was really stressful. It was a really stressful time in my life. So I don't regret any of what happened for me getting Kason. Like, I love Kason with all of my heart. That's my world, you guys. Like, after I started coming up out of the postpartum depression, the more I began to love him, and the closer we got, and the stronger our bond got. And now to this day, I am in love with Kason. I am in love with Kyla. They are my whole beating heart. But back then, you guys, I'm just keeping it 100. Postpartum depression is nothing to play with. It's not a joke. It's not a game. People are not kidding when they say they have it. It's a actual, I don't want to say disease, but I want to say disease. Like, it's an actual thing that goes on, and it's nothing to be played with. Please listen to people when they're telling you that that they're going through something. And try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Always keep them company. Always reassure them that everything's going to be okay, because it's not anything to play with. And that's why I don't play when people be like, oh, this is a suicide prank or something like that. I'd be like, I don't play with stuff like that, because it's not a joke. People actually go through stuff like that, and it's not funny at all. So if you know anybody that's going through depression, postpartum depression, whatever, bipolar, anxiety, anything like that, just really try to comfort them as much. Don't bring it up so much, like, are you okay? Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Just get them out of their comfort. Get them out of what they're feeling. Get them out of their head, basically. Like, reach into their head and get them out of there. Go take them for ice cream. Go to the park. Ride around the house. Ride around. Get out. Let them have fun, because in reality, you feel trapped. You feel alone. You feel like you're crazy, and you're not. You're just going through something that a lot of people won't tell you that you will go through after having a child. yeah, you guys, that was the story of how I got pregnant with Kason, my birth with Kason, and my postpartum depression after Kason. Okay, you guys, if you want more videos like this, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Also, do not forget to subscribe, turn those post notifications on so that you can get the shout out in the next video. And then follow me on all of my social medias, my Instagram at @therealmicaela_. You guys, I have so much in store for y'all. I'm super duper excited. Y'all, I know that you feel like I'm sometimes like not as interactive with you guys, but that's just because I'm planning something so nice for you guys, something that will give you another side of me, something that you just never seen from Mickey before, okay? But I do love you guys, and before I get out of here, I will give some shout outs. Okay, so the shout outs for today will go to, I'm looking at my laptop, Jewel, Cray J Gaming, Caitlin G, Alyssa Feltz, Sean Walters, Skylar Montees, Aria Lawson, Desiree Martin, Jordan Life, and Akila and Ford. So those are my shout outs that I'm going to give for today. But I do love you guys, and thank you so much for listening to me. Again, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, hugs, kisses, and love. Bye.